So the idea of congruent is basically the same as the idea of something being equal, but we use congruent when we're talking about shapes, essentially shapes that are equal. And the symbol here, if you can't see it real well, is an equal sign with a tilde above it, a little squiggly line above it. All right. But again, it really just means that the two shapes are the same. Okay. So instead of an equal sign, when we're talking about shapes, we use a congruent sign. So congruent segments, just segments that have the same length, all right? So when I look at this, A, B, and C, D are both 1 inch long. So if they're both 1 inch long, then they are congruent because their measurements are the same. And in geometry, the way we label congruence is we just put the same number of dashes through each. So if each of those has 1 dash through it, it means they're congruent. If another set of segments has 2 dashes through them, well, those sets are congruent, okay? So if they have an equal number of dashes, we say they're congruent, all right? For example, if I look at something like this guy, it asks, are the segments congruent? And so I basically just take my ruler here and I'm just going to measure each of these. So let me measure this first one. So again, I line up that end and it's just a hair off. I don't think I can get it any closer. Let's just pretend this is extended just a little bit. Oh, I scooted that. But as I look at this thing, I kind of line that up right there. As I measure this first one, it looks like it's 2 and just a little bit over a half. So I'm going to say 2.5 or 2 and 9/16 inches. So this one is 2 and about 9/16 inches, it looks like. And then if I look at the next one, so let me grab that ruler. And so I line that up. It looks like this one is 2 and 3 past the 1/2. So 11/16 of an inch. And so even though they look like they might be congruent, they look really close, they're not quite the same measurement. So let me get this guy out of the way here. So when I look at that question of are the segments congruent? Well, no, because they don't have the same length, okay? If they did have the same length, then of course they would be congruent, okay? So determining if two segments are congruent is really just a matter of determining if they have the same length, okay?